Has it changed over time? Why, yes, it has. Let me explain. Hello and welcome to my writing journey. Like so many writers, my journey is a continuing effort, and I'm not done yet. And I'm going to tell you about it. So welcome. I'm Ellen Byerrum, author of books, including The Crime of Fashion Mysteries and my new Art Deco books, such as Crook Tales for Two, soon to have a new one out, a standalone thriller, and a dozen plays, a couple of children's books, short stories, and more. I most emphatically am not AI, nor will I use AI in my writing. I started my career as a reporter with a couple detours along the way, terrible jobs, until I landed in a great job as a reporter in Washington, D.C., covering the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, where I learned a whole lot of ways to die on the job. That comes in handy when you're a mystery writer. I learned that many deaths could be murder, in fiction, at least, and the sad truth is that employers who kill workers through negligence and substandard or non-existent safety procedures almost never go to prison. Now, I post a video every week on some writing-adjacent topic, sometimes gossip. If you like that, please subscribe and give it a like. Feel free to comment and know that I appreciate each and every one of you. I also post these videos on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, as well as YouTube, which doesn't seem to do much with them. When I started filming videos, it was a way to keep in touch with readers. It is a long time between books and you don't want people to forget you. It's usually about a year, and I wanted to let people know I'm still around and learning new lessons, sometimes relearning old lessons, but I will continue to write. In the beginning, this channel featured my Fashion Bites videos. They were inspired by my Crime of Fashion books, where I include Fashion Bites, bits of advice about what to wear and how to interpret what people put on their bodies. Bob, my husband and editor, and handler of the camera, has been with me the whole way. At first, I set a goal to produce a year's worth of videos on fashion mysteries, and writing. I was thrilled when we actually accomplished that first year. Now, my fashion mysteries always contain fashion clues and misdemeanors, and I love exploring how we tell stories about ourselves with our clothing without saying a word. You don't think you do? I disagree. All of my fashion videos are still on the channel if you're interested, and some of my favorites include, what is dressy casual? Do not go dowdy into that good night, and dressing for Thanksgiving. You, not the turkey. It's been rewarding to learn so much about cameras, microphones, scripting, and most importantly, to get over myself, as I find it very hard to look and listen to me. I discovered that you can appear radically different depending on the camera you use. This one's purpose seems to be to keep me humble. Ouch. It is also rewarding to meet new people through this medium and share my thoughts and the odd lesson I've learned, whether it's about writing and publishing or even fashion. However, those original Fashion Bites videos, which I started in 2017, took a long time to produce. I learned it wasn't simply turning on the camera and chatting, as I had originally envisioned. As soon as you do, your mind can go blank. I also had to think about what to wear to illustrate a point, and dress Molly the mannequin as well. She had her own outfit. A word about the mannequin. I bought her at a shop in Denver called Molly's that was going out of business. So Molly came in very handy. We always tried to do 2 or 3 videos at a time, and now we aim to film 2 in a session, once every couple of weeks. They still take time, but not as much. Things got much better when I discovered online teleprompting services. They aren't perfect, but they make the process a lot easier, especially when you write your thoughts down instead of just thinking, oh, it'll come to me. It is now 8 years later. Although during the pandemic I took over a year off because everyone was at home and writers were declaring they only wore pajamas. They didn't need fashion advice or even clothing advice. I don't even own pajamas. I don't like them. I hated them when I was a child. But I do get dressed every day, then and now. My quirk is that I cannot write in pajamas because writing is my job. You get dressed to go to a job. I also wear makeup as a public service, sometimes with eyelashes, because I don't want to frighten anyone. This channel is about writing, not horror, not Night of the Living Corpse, which I resemble without makeup. As times change, so has my channel. It is no longer focused on fashion bites, but a broader subject, the writing journey. We learn things as we move forward. So what have I learned? Perhaps the most important thing about being a writer is having things to write about. Sometimes I wonder if people really know what they're talking about. Just look at politicians. I was in a congressional hearing once when a senator or a congressman said something, then reflected, "I guess I just said a bunch of nothing." Another senator piped up, "But you do it so well." So unless you do it so well, you should know what you're saying. Many years ago, I also remember listening to a panel on women in film at the Kennedy Center, including the late screenwriter Diane Thomas, who wrote Romancing the Stone. They all talked about how important our experiences are before we attain the mantle of writer. Why? Because you should live some life on which to base your stories, on which to challenge your preconceived ideas. You should know different types of people and not live in a bubble. You should travel beyond that bubble, if only in your studies, your reading, and your mind. Give people a chance. And what have I learned? You don't have to take everyone's rules for writing at face value. And there are thousands of rules, some probably made up today. You don't have to live with the voice of your 8th grade English teacher in your head or your college professor. They probably have moved on to greater shores. You should love your stories even when they are hard to write. Don't take yourself too seriously. Try not to envy the other writers who win all the awards. Yes, that can be annoying. Or those writers who easily put out multiple books a year. It is hard. And jealousy is natural, it is human, but it is a time waster. And unless you're going to use that in your writing, it will delay your own progress. Always have this phrase on hand when someone attains a win, or has a story accepted, or a new contract. Here it is. Congratulations, I'm so happy for you. Practice it. It gets easier. Just don't envy them. They have their own troubles. I've heard. I'm not sure. Write when you can. When you're inspired. Write when you're not inspired. Forgive yourself when you can't write. It's all part of the process, and these are troubling times in which to write. Write in the middle of the night when the muse wakes you out of a perfectly good sleep. You can buy pens that light in the dark and write on paper, or some people talk into their phones in the wee hours. Make no excuses. You were meant to be a writer. Probably. But chase your own dream, not someone else's. Don't live the dream that your father may have wanted to live as a writer. At this point in time, Bob and I have produced 214 videos on my channel, which also reinforces one of my beliefs. When you look forward, you may not feel that you are making any progress. But if you take a moment to stand still and take stock of what you have accomplished, look behind. You'll be surprised with your success. The writing journey continues. I will be here with new thoughts, ideas, and videos. Drop a comment and let me know how you keep at it, why you keep at it. That's all I have for now, and I'll see you next time. Bye.